And now for the Xeno question of the episode before this episode starts, because I forgot to say this before I started recording. What is the monster you dread fighting the most? What is the one that you look at the ingredients list for the next thing you want to make? You look down at it and you're like, okay, I need some Rathian, I need some Rathalos stuff. And then you see that last thing on the list and you know what monster it comes from. And you just go, oh, I don't even want to build this thing anymore. Or like, oh, I'm going to do it, but it's going to suck. For me, it's Tigrex. I think Tigrex is a highly outdated monster and running back and forth is stupid and it's not an interesting mechanic. I think Tigrex needs a complete overhaul and just to fix up his moveset a lot. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but, you know, that's just my opinion. Hey guys, Ryan here, and welcome back to I Stare at a Bunch of Trailers. Today, we are focusing on the Great Sword and the Switch Axe. First off, I want to say, last episode, which I think was I missed quite a few things. So, at the very last episode of this, which is going to be the next one, I definitely want to do like a little bit of a roundup of all the little facts I missed. So anything you guys said in the comment section, I paid attention and I've heard them, trust me. And we're going to bring them up at the end of next episode. But for right now, we have the Greatsword. I have a lot of experience with the Greatsword, actually. I think it was my main weapon as I played through 4. Love the weapon, loved it in World. Let's see what they did with it. That was a big spin. I love the design of that greatsword too. It's huge. That mobility with it is crazy because of the wire bug. Oh, I love that animation of the character lifting it above their head. Power Sheath. This is sort of new, but it's also sort of not. They had something similar in Gen, but I don't remember if it had the dodge. And Hunting Edge.
Are you ready?
What is this? Okay, so it launches you in the air, you step off the monster, and you get to do a giant aerial swing. But I don't think it's a special aerial swing. What is that giant leap forward? What is that? Is that just like something mixed with a wire bug? Oh man, I have so much to look at in this one. But anyways. So what should a new player expect if they decide to play Greatsword a lot? Greatsword is a very slow weapon. You have to stand still and charge it up. But obviously we're getting a bunch of new mobility options. But at a base level, the Greatsword is going to require you to stand still, charge up your attack like we see on screen, and then give it a big ol' swing. And that's pretty much most of its moveset. It does have some other things you can do with it, like shoulder tackles, which I think are still in here. I don't remember if it showed them in the trailer or not. But either way, it is a slow weapon that requires you to be extremely patient and stand still for long amounts of time. So you're probably thinking in your head, this sounds like a good way to get yourself killed. And yes, it is. But at the same time, and I'm generalizing this statement, but there is not a single weapon in the entire game that will do more damage to a downed monster than someone with a greatsword. Because not only will you be doing massive amounts of damage per swing, and I mean massive, probably the biggest burst damage you're going to get in the entire game. If that monster falls over and you want its tail, that tail is coming off. Let's just say that. This is a powerhouse weapon, and people who like to do a lot of damage all in one swing and don't mind having to be patient and waiting for the right moment to pull your weapon out and get the perfect swing in rather than getting a bunch of smaller hits all the time, this weapon is for you. So there was honestly a load of new stuff for the Greatsword in this trailer. A lot of which I can't really tell. Like for example, this. What is this? I'm guessing this is just like the silk bind attack you get after you do like a normal vault. So I do have the website up, and the website does give us a certain amount of information and detail, but sometimes I found some of the information on some of these moves to be a little inaccurate and like poorly translated almost. But for the majority, this move right here, our first move, which is this power sheath. This isn't exactly new, but it's also very welcome for me. In Generations, they had something very similar where you sheathed your greatsword and got it ready for a big swing. I don't remember if it was a buff or if it was just the next swing, but in the website, it says a quick forwards maneuver performed as you sheath your weapon. Boost your attack for a short period of time. Now, when it says a short period of time, I don't know if that's going to mean, you know, an actual short period of time or if it's your next swing, you know? Because from the name of this, it looks like it would buff, because I can see the silk bug on your arm, or the wire bug. I keep calling it a silk bug. It does seem to stay after he's swung, so it is a short time. This is welcome, you know. A dodge for the greatsword plus a buff, I'll take that. Honestly, I like the way they're going with a lot of these weapons, which is weapons that have mobility issues. They're giving them a way to maneuver a little bit. And on top of that, that maneuver isn't just a maneuver, but it's a maneuver plus a buff, or a maneuver plus an attack to get out of the way. I really like what they've been doing with that. And then we have this. Okay, I was right. That is the hunting edge, this swinging thing. So on your way over, you swing over like a Beyblade. You bounce off of whatever body part you hit, and then you can do one of the greatsword's aerial attacks, which is between this downswing and the regular aerial slash. So yeah, I probably got something wrong about this spinning attack, but other than that, I like what greatsword looks like right now. I think these two attacks are going to benefit it greatly, as where it's been a weapon for a long time where you stood still, and I think the shoulder tackle combo routes really helped it in World. And here's a really underutilized thing in World that I hope there's an equivalent for in this game that I'm actually going to miss. So the slinger in World actually allowed you to reposition your greatsword swing in any direction. I believe what the combo was is you'd like charge your greatsword, you do a shoulder tackle, you do the side slap with the sword, and then after that you could fire the slinger in any direction. And then if you were to charge after you fired your slinger, you would be facing that direction instantly. So you could 180 sword charge, and I really love that. I love that mechanic, and I feel like it's going to be hard for me to go on without it. So since the slinger doesn't exist, we'll see what they offer us. As people have told me, there's a lot more to these weapons than what they show in the trailer. We're speculating, and it seems like some weapons even might have tertiary silkbind attacks, but it's really unclear. From the comment section and even reading online, I've gotten really conflicting info, so we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, next is the switch axe. So the switch axe is it's a very important weapon in my heart, because it's one of the first weapons I ever picked up, and the weapon that actually allowed me to carry through the game. As I said, I started Monster Hunter 3rd or Tri, whatever, and I went through almost every single weapon in the game. I'm like, all these feel so bad. They feel so awful. And then I got to Switch Axe. I'm like, whoa, this thing is rad. This thing is so cool. And then I saw the Rathian Switch Axe, and I was like, oh my god, I want that so bad. I want the whole Rathian set, and I want the Rathian Switch Axe. I want everything. So I killed Rathian like 10 times, and I think that's what kind of got me hooked on Monster Hunter, was getting that Rathian set, and I definitely remember that as a very cherishable memory. Anyways, I want to see what they gave to my legacy weapon, the Switch Axe. And although I would say Switch Axe is like a weapon that's very special to me in my heart, I'd still have to say I think Hunting Horn's my absolute. If not, they're kind of neck and neck, you know. Which Hunting Horn hasn't been shown yet. Ooh, that looked neat. Oh, I love the look of that set. Did that girl have cat ears? You know what this reminds me of? This is like a Phantasy Star Online set. That's the vibe I'm getting. Okay. The combo routes from World are still here. Amped Elemental Discharge is a really pretty effect. So first of all, I don't want to pause it. Invincible Gambit. I'm bringing the pain! Looks like it has another form of invincibility as well as a few slashes. And then we have Switch Charger, which maintains switch. Oh god, this is a problem. I'll explain this once we get to this, but I have a problem with this move. Honestly, a big problem. Okay, so who is Switch Axe for? I know this very well as a person who's used it for a long time. Switch Axe is for a person... God, this is hard to explain, honestly. The Switch Axe is for a person, I'd say, who likes a wide and varied moveset. It has an axe mode that you basically hit the monster with, and it charges up, and eventually you can go into the sword mode. The axe mode does raw physical damage, and the sword mode will do whatever element is in the switch axe's vial. So you have a choice between raw damage and elemental damage. On top of that, you can do what's called an amped elemental discharge, which you just saw on screen, or you can explode the element out of the weapon. It's a really fun weapon, with the upsides being it's really aggressive. If you like really aggressive play, you have to be right up in their face with the switch axe. So to kind of summarize it, the switch axe is a very aggressive weapon, or at least in the way it should be used, where you kind of use the axe mode to get to the sword mode, and then you can basically just go at it with your heart's content in the sword mode, doing crazy amounts of damage in a singular combo, which the combos are actually pretty long for the switch axe. So I would recommend the switch axe to anyone who just, I don't know, likes the concept of a weapon that changes form, really. To me, the switch axe is actually a really basic weapon, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean, like, it's one of those weapons where every single button you push just hits the spot in front of you, and that's kind of its moveset. But I'd say it has kind of depth of mastery in switching between sword mode and axe mode, because there's a lot of combos that switch between the two, and it's really cool. One of my favorites, and got me hooked on Monster Hunter once again. Anyways, let's take a look at the Silkbind attacks, because I'm gonna have a lot to say about the second one. The first one I think is actually pretty cool. It's not that. It's this invincible gambit. Yeah, look at that. So the website describes this as a forward-moving spinning attack. Fortifies the user, making them immune to flinching or getting knocked back by even the fiercest attacks. So you still take damage, it seems like, because they're elaborating that it only stops you from being knocked back or flinching. So you can still die during this attack, but they won't be able to knock you back. So that's pretty neat. You know, it's a nice attack. Don't have much else to say about it. It gets you some distance. And then we have the switch charger. So I don't actually think that mounting move is part of the switch charger. It could be. But I'm pretty sure that's just the amped elemental discharge at like max level getting put in the monster, but they could have assigned it to the special mode now. I don't know for sure. But the switch charger basically uses the wire bug to launch you forward while quickly regenerating your switch gauge. In addition, the switch gauge won't decrease for a short period of time. Now, obviously, this isn't out yet, so I don't have exactly the right to really go, oh, this is terrible, the weapon is ruined. But a problem the switch axe has always had to me, especially in Generations. Generations made this weapon almost unplayable for me at the time. And what it is when you give the switch axe something to keep it in sword mode all the time, it becomes using the sword mode all the time. And I hate that. Because the reason I play the weapon is because it has this really cool flow of switching from axe mode to sword mode. And in Generations, they gave it this skill that allowed you to basically permanently stay in sword mode for an entire fight. And it had almost no downsides, and it was just the most taken skill or hunter art for switch axe, and it kind of took the fun out of the weapon for me, because it was just like, I might as well just be playing longsword right now or anything else. But I'll see how this goes. You know, I'm not going to call it off yet. Maybe there's a bit of balance here, and it's just like, oh, you know, I can keep it in sword mode for a little longer just when I need it. But if there's anything I want them not to do to this weapon, it's to just constantly keep it in sword mode, because it defeats the entire purpose of the weapon, even if it is better damage and nicer utility. But overall, switch axe looks relatively the same. I'm seeing some variations on some combos, I think, here. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, because the character's just jumping around so much. But yeah, I'm really liking what I see here in general. I wouldn't say these new switch axe moves are like, ooh, I can't live without them or anything, but they're not bad, you know, they're not bad. Anyways, I hope you guys liked today's video. I know I probably didn't have a lot to say on the switch axe as much as I did the greatsword, but that's because its moveset is relatively the same from what it seems here. I could be missing things, as I always do. In that Gun Lance episode, last episode, I was like, oh, I don't know if you could do this for Gun Lance, and then the monster did, and then the character did it like 5 times in front of my face, and I didn't see it, but that's how it goes sometimes. So yeah, I don't think I really missed much. If there's anything you caught that I didn't about the Switch Axis base moveset, leave it in the comment section down below. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of this. We only have one more left, and I do want to make a special Monster Hunter video or two after this. So even after this little quick look series ends, I want you guys to stay tuned to everything going on. I don't know if you guys want me to like react to Monster Hunter stuff in the future, but I will definitely do that, and I will definitely talk about it. Because if you guys can't tell, I really love this series, even if sometimes my knowledge of it fails me, and my memory of some of these weapon movesets or monsters or how things went fails me. I genuinely love this series. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you later. Riding out.